and welcome to Hempstead High School's production of Clue. Thank you so much for supporting the arts in our school. Clue is a psychological thriller that takes the audience through a dark and twisted mind of a psychopathic murderer out for revenge.
I thought it was more of a comedy.
Are you crazy? Haven't you ever played the board game? It's full of accusations, suspicion, and lies. Families have been traumatized. Children have gone mad. Mothers have drowned in pools of tears. Rules are broken. It's a travesty.
Yes, like I said, it's a comedy. Besides, some rules are meant to be broken where others must be followed. Or else.
Great point. That being said, we thank you for following a few simple rules of our space. Please refrain from eating or drinking in the auditorium, and please keep your feet off the seats. Please turn off all electronic devices and refrain from distracting the audience with loud noises, videotaping, and flash photography.
Seriously, don't be the one sneaking videos. You know who you are, and I will find you. I will find you, and I will correct the situation.
Right then. Well, in case of an emergency, exits are located at the top and bottom on both sides of the theater.
Or you could follow me. I promise I'll keep you safe.
If severe weather is a concern, we will make an announcement and give further instructions.
And if the power goes out, or there's a snowstorm that traps us here for days, well then, it's every man, woman, child, and villain for themselves.
What's his problem?
Well, perhaps he can't handle the rules.
Right. One last announcement. There are a few gunshots, not sound effects, on stage here tonight, so please do not be that spooked. Right then, thank you for attending this show, and we hope you enjoy Hempstead's production of Clue.
Wouldn't want to frighten anyone to death. There are so many better ways to die. Is everything ready?
Yes.
You have your instructions? Is everything all right, Frau Braun?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30 sharp. Do you want the dogs there before the guests arrive?
No. I want them hungry. Don't be afraid. It's only Yvette in the dining room with the champagne bottle. At any rate, if my calculations are correct, the guests are on their way.
Sir, I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, indeed, sir, you are expected, Colonel. It is Colonel Mustard, is it not?
Right, but that's not my real name.
Oh, thank you, sir. You may feel well obliged tonight to my employer for the use of a pseudonym.
No, thank you. I took an antihistamine before I came. Who are you, sir?
I'm Wadsworth, sir. The butler.
Right.
Yvette, would you please attend to the colonel and give him anything he requires? Within reason, that is.
Come now, Wadsworth, you'll spoil all our fun. Wadsworth, I was wondering...
Ah, good evening, madam. Do come in. You are expected.
Do you know who I am?
Only that you are to be referred to as Mrs. White.
Yes, it says so in the letter, although I don't know why.
Mrs. White, may I introduce you to Yvette, the maid? You two know each other?
Don't be ridiculous. I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Oui, she is no friend of mine.
Hello.
No, hello.
Ah, welcome to Hill House, madam.
Oh, thank you.
I will take your coat.
You know, it was really quite the trouble to find this place after all, hidden amongst all the hills and all. And what a storm! What was that saying? Someone said, oh yes, behold, I am bringing all of the water upon the earth to destroy flesh. Now, where did I hear that?
I believe it was God, madame.
Rain certainly is biblical.
Speaking of flesh, I'm surprised you're at all familiar with the good book.
Ah, you two know each other?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Well, may I present Mrs. Peacock?
How do you do?
Hello.
And you are?
Yvette, would you please make sure that everything will be ready once all the guests arrive?
Yes, is this the right address to meet Mr. Body?
Ah, you must be Mr. Green.
Yes.
Sit! No, not you, sir.
Oh, sorry, I'm a bit clumsy. Is there a cat in here? I'm afraid I'm allergic.
Oh, give him the pseudonym, it'll clear it right up.
Good afternoon. What a pleasure it is for you to see
I'm
me.
so sorry to be late for this dinner engagement.
I will take your coat,
And
miss.
my purse.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Now, Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet. I didn't realize you two were acquainted.
We weren't.
We received these invitations, but these aren't our real names.
My car broke down and this professor gave me a ride.
A ride? Naughty, naughty, Miss Scarlet.
The dinner will be served soon. Can I get anyone something to drink?
I only drink on 2 occasions, day and night.
Well then, may I present Professor Plum and Miss Scarlet.
Well, this really is a party.
Since you've each been addressed by a pseudonym,
Must be allergy season.
you'll have realized that none of you are using your real names.
I am so sorry. I'm accident prone.
Ah, dinner.
Cocktail hour? That was more like a cocktail minute.
Rotten keep her waiting. Cook can get cranky. Follow me. Is it ready, Frau Braun?
Jawohl. Alles is überkastet. 7:30. Sharp.
You'll find your names beside your places. Please, be seated.
you then,
Oh,
Wadsworth?
no, sir, I'm not your host. I'm merely a butler.
And what do you do?
I buttle, sir.
Which means...
I keep everything tight, that's all.
What's this all about, Butler, this dinner party?
Ours is not to reason why. Ours is but to do and die.
Die?
I'm merely quoting, sir, Alfred Lord Tennyson.
I prefer Kipling myself, sir. The female of the species is more deadly than the male. Do you like Kipling, Miss Scarlet?
Sure, I'll eat anything.
Right.
But why were we all brought here? We're strangers.
All in good time, madame.
Chocs fin soup, madame.
Is this seat for our host, then, Wadsworth?
No, sir. For our 7th guest, Mr. Body.
I thought Mr. Body was our host.
Yes, that's what I thought.
I was feeling awfully anxious. Where is our host?
Perhaps the host isn't here because the host is dead.
That's a morbid thought.
Well, it's
Well, I thought I meant to bring them out. I mean, we don't even
So who is our host, Mr. Wadsworth?
Well, I say we start while it's still hot.
I like things hot.
Oh, no. Shouldn't we wait for the other guest?
I will keep something warm for you. What you have in mind, dear?
Away from the dinner table, please.
You need something?
How do I go now?
Germs all over the place.
Please,
Disgusting.
What?
Your time? He must be drunken!
Oh.
Fear not, I learned this during the war. Right.
Thank you. What were you in exactly? It's a bit excessive.
There is nothing excessive about saving lives.
I could have died.
Oh my.
All right, well, someone's got to break the ice, and it might as well be me. I mean, I'm used to being a hostess. It's part of my husband's work, and I always host a ladies' luncheon on Tuesdays. It's always difficult when a group of new friends meet together for the first time to get acquainted, so I'm perfectly prepared to start the ball rolling. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, or what I'm doing here, or what this place is all about, but I'm determined to enjoy myself, and I'm very intrigued, and oh my, this soup's delicious, isn't it?
You say you're used to being a hostess as part of your husband's work?
I think hosting ladies' luncheons is definitely boring.
Yes, well, it's an integral part of your life when you're the wife of a... But then I forgot. We're not supposed to say who we really are. Oh, heavens to Betsy, I don't know why.
Oh, don't you?
I know who you are.
How do you know who I am?
I work in Washington, D.C. too.
So you're a politician's wife?
Yes, I am.
Who's your husband? Maybe I know him.
Come on now, aren't you going to tell us who he is?
So what does your husband do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, he just lies around on his back all day.
Sounds like hard work to me.
room. I'm so sorry. I'm actually
Watch it. Oh, this is one of my favorite recipes.
I know, madame.
So what do you do in Washington, D.C., Mr. Green?
I'd rather not say. I like to follow the rules.
Oh, come on now. How are we supposed to get acquainted if we don't say anything about ourselves?
Perhaps he doesn't want to be acquainted with you.
Well, I'm sure I don't know. If I weren't trying to keep the conversation going, then we would just be sitting here in an embarrassed silence.
Are you afraid of silence, Miss Pico?
Yes! What? No. Why?
I fear you may suffer from what we call pressure of speech or fear of silentitis.
Is that an official diagnosis?
What we call, who's we? Are you a shrink?
I dabble a little in psychological medicine, yes.
Are you a doctor?
Yes, but I don't practice.
What a shame. Practice makes perfect. I think most men need a little practice, don't you, Miss Peacock?
So what do you do, Professor?
I do research for the Department of Social Behavioral Studies, for the National Health Organization.
Another politician.
What is your area of research?
I study psychotics and lunatics, and I'm good at it. Colonel, are you a real colonel?
I am, sir.
We're not going to mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C.
How did you know that? Have we met before?
I've certainly seen you before, although you may have not seen me.
So, Miss Scarlett, does this mean that you also live in Washington?
Oh, I do everything in Washington, Mr. Green.
Jinkies.
Is there anyone here who doesn't live in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I don't.
Well, yes, but you work for a government job, and the rest of us all live in a government town. Anybody here not earn their living from the government in one way or another?
Oh, Wadsworth, I demand you tell us why we've all been brought here and where is our host?
It seems our final guest has arrived. Good evening, sir. You are eagerly awaited.
Why are you locking the door? Give me the key.
Over my dead body, sir.
Where's the trust, Wadsworth?
What's in the bag? Evidence, I presume?
Never presume, Wadsworth. It's always more fun to be surprised.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. Body?
Jesus Christ.
I swear there's a cat in here.
Are you comfortable, sir?
I make a living, don't I? Oh, take that away. I'm not here for the food. I'm here for the company. Oh, Yvette, don't go too far.
How did you know her name?
We know each other. Don't we, dear?
Now look, I demand to know what's going on here. Now, why have we all been dragged up to this horrible place? I mean, we all live in Washington, D.C. Don't do any of this.
I believe we all received a letter. Mine said, "It will be to your advantage to be present on this date, because a Mr. Body will bring to an end a certain long-standing and confidential financial liability." It is signed, a friend.
I received a similar letter.
So did we, didn't we?
I also received a letter.
Pardon my curiosity, sir, but did your letter say the same thing?
No.
I see. Well then, can I interest anyone in fruit or dessert? Then I suggest we adjourn to the study for coffee and brandy, at which point I believe our unknown host will make his intentions known.
Well, there's no one here.
Please, everyone be seated. Yvette, would you please pour everyone a drink? Now, my instructions are to reveal to you all what you have in common. Unless you care to do the honors, Mr. Body.
Why me? Don't they know who I am?
You have not yet revealed yourself to them, sir.
This is an outrage. I suggest we all leave now.
Don't you want to know what they want from us?
Oh, I'm not waiting to find out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry, you cannot leave this house.
Oh, look, I'm the wife of the greatest senator from Tennessee. You cannot tell me what to do. Oh, come on now, just open that door and let's get
This is outrageous. Can we please?
All right, that's enough. Is it locked? There is no way out. All the windows have bars, all the doors are locked. And those vicious attack dogs that patrol the grounds haven't been fed for days.
Oh, is there
Please, return to the study and everything will be explained. You as well, Mr. Body. Now, you all have one thing in common with each other. You're all being blackmailed. For some considerable time now, you've all been paying what you can afford and, well, in some cases, more than you can afford, to someone who threatens to expose you. And none of you know who's blackmailing you, do you?
Well, please. I mean, that's ridiculous. No one could blackmail me. My life's an open book. I've never done anything wrong.
Oh, yes, because the wife of the great senator from Tennessee could never do anything wrong.
Well, anyone else wish to deny it? Well, then, as we all are in the same boat, we may proceed. Thank you, Yvette. Now, my instructions are to reveal to you some details.
Don't you think you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm sorry, I cannot. Professor Plum, you were once a professor in psychiatry, specializing in helping paranoid and homicidal lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Yes, but now I work for the U.S. government.
Oh, so your work has not changed. But you don't currently practice psychiatry, do you? You are only a researcher, are you not? His license to practice has been revoked.
Why? What'd he do?
You know what doctors aren't allowed to do with their female patients?
Yeah.
Well, he did.
She couldn't help falling in love with me. It's not my fault I was born this attractive. Just look at my hair.
How disgusting.
Are you making moral judgments, Mrs. Peacock? How then do you justify taking bribes in exchange for delivering your husband, Senator Peacock's vote to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not if it's publicly declared, perhaps. But if the payment is delivered by slipping used greenbacks in plain envelopes under the door of a men's room, then how would you describe that transaction?
Well, I'd say it stinks.
How would you know? When were you in that men's restroom?
So it's true.
No, it's a vicious lie.
I'm sure we're all glad to hear that. But you've been paying the blackmailer for over a year now to keep that story out of the papers.
Well, I'm willing to believe you. I too am being blackmailed for something I didn't do.
Me too.
Not me.
You're not being blackmailed?
I'm being blackmailed, all right. But I did what I'm being blackmailed for.
I see.
What did you do, might I ask?
Well, to be perfectly frank, I run a specialized service which provides gentlemen with the company of a young lady for a short while.
Really? What's the number?
An escort service in our nation's capital, within sight of the White House. Oh, I'm shocked. Shocked and appalled.
Escort setting up shop near politicians? It's hardly shocking.
It's like they say, location, location, location.
So, how did you know Colonel Mustard lives in Washington? Is he one of your clients?
No, certainly not. A man having to pay a woman? That's a problem I'll never have.
I was asking Miss Scarlett.
You tell him it's not true.
It's not true.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
So it is true.
A double negative.
A negative? Wait, you mean you have photographs?
That sounds like a confession to me.
Those
In
negatives-
fact, the double negative has led to a proof positive.
And those negatives would most certainly compromise your position.
What position were you caught in exactly?
This is an outrage!
I'm afraid you gave yourself away, Colonel.
What, are you trying to make me look like a fool in front of the other guests?
You don't need any help from me, sir.
Damn right! Wait.
Well, I don't see what's so wrong with Colonel Mustard here visiting a house of ill fame. Most soldiers do, don't they?
Please.
Yes, well, Colonel Mustard holds a sensitive security post in the nation's Pentagon. And Colonel, You drive a very expensive car for someone who lives on a colonel's pay.
Well, I came into money during the war, and after my mommy and daddy died.
Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances.
Why is that funny?
It's what you said at dinner. He was lying on his back in his coffin.
Well, I didn't kill him.
Well, then why are you paying the blackmail?
I don't want a scandal, do I? We had a very humiliating public confrontation. He was deranged, a lunatic. He didn't actually seem to like me very much. He threatened to kill me in public.
Why would he want to kill you in public?
I think she meant he threatened in public to kill her.
Oh, was that his final word in the matter?
Well, being killed is pretty final, wouldn't you say?
He's the one who died, Mrs. White. Not you. Not you.
What did he do for a living?
Oh, he was a scientist, nuclear physics.
What was he like?
Well, he was always a rather stupidly optimistic man. I mean, I'm afraid it came as a great shock to him when he died. But he was found dead at home. His head had been cut off, and so had his, you know. I had been out all evening at the movies.
What was showing?
The Naked Alibi.
Likely story.
Do you miss him? Well, it's a matter of life after death. Now that he's dead, I have a life.
Well, he was your second husband. Your first also disappeared.
But that was his job. He was an illusionist.
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist. But my third husband, I miss him the most. He was an electrician before he was electrocuted.
On the job?
In the bathtub. But it wasn't me, none of them were.
None of them? How many times have you been married?
I've been very lucky in love.
Just not longevity.
I have something to say. I'm not going to wait for Wadsworth here to unmask me. I work for the State Department. And I am a homosexual. Oh my.
Indeed. This is the information on file for Mr. Green. Who is a homosexual?
Not me.
Pardon me?
Well, they asked who was a homosexual, and I said not me.
I'm saying you're an idiot.
I feel no personal shame or guilt about this, but I must keep it a secret or I will lose my job on security grounds. Even though that is perfectly ridiculous, because homosexuality is a totally natural genetic predisposition. Thank you.
That just leaves Mr. Body.
What's your dirty little secret?
And what's in the bag, huh? What's in the bag?
Oh, Wadsworth spilled our beans. Now it's your turn.
Mr. Body's secret? Hadn't you guessed? He's the one who's blackmailing you.
What?
Listen, you shy
Nobody calls me a bastard. My mother's an upright lady. Yes, well, my mother taught me the uppercut. Yes, gentlemen. We're not going to fight fair. Don't fight at all. My toes.
Miss White in the study with her knee!
Was that necessary, Mrs. White?
What do you mean was that
Ladies and gentlemen, there is one more piece of information that you may like to have.
What?
The police are coming. What? Blackmail depends on secrecy. All of you have admitted how Mr. Body's been able to blackmail you. All you have to do is tell the police. Mr. Body will be arrested, and your troubles will be over.
They'll never tell the police.
Then I shall. I have evidence in my possession, and this whole conversation is being tape recorded.
Point of order. Tape recordings are not admissible evidence.
Wait.
Listen, the police will be here in approximately 45 minutes. Tell them the truth, and Mr. Body will be behind bars.
Or you can all agree to pay me double what you owe me. I'll tell the police it was a phony call. Refuse and I put all the evidence against your wrongdoings in the hands of the police and the press. Some of you would face jail time. All of you would face a lifetime of shame.
Oh, come on. He's already blackmailing you. You can't possibly trust him.
I think I have something to help make up their mind. Something that might change the game. Guess what's in here? Man?
the evidence against us, no doubt.
We didn't know we were meeting you tonight. Did you know you were meeting us?
Oh, yes.
What were you told? Precisely.
Merely that you were all here to discuss our little financial arrangements, and that if I didn't show up, Wadsworth would be informing the police about it all. I couldn't hardly resist putting in an appearance. Where's that? Sorry. This one's yours. In your hands, you each have a gift. Something I thought you might find useful for tonight. Open up.
Why not? I enjoy getting presents from strange men. A candlestick? What's this for?
In your hands, you each have a lethal weapon. If you dismount me to the police, you will be exposed and humiliated. I'll see to that in court. You see, all of you showed up here with a purpose tonight because you thought there was some sort of evidence against you that was so terrible you would do almost anything to keep it a secret. I'm putting that to the test. You see, Wadsworth is the only other person who knows your secret. It's costing me to keep him quiet. I have to pay him double your payments just for his silence.
That's a lie.
He may look suave and charming.
True.
But he's conniving and manipulative.
False.
But if one of you kills Wadsworth now, no one but the son of us would know. He is the key to the front door, which he said would only be opened over his dead body. I suggest we take him up on that offer.
Well, why us? Why not do your own dirty work?
Because the 6 of you are uniquely motivated. Besides, my mother taught me manners.
Why you little... I'm gonna beat your face in.
Don't give him the satisfaction he's a liar.
I'm not a liar, I'm an opportunist. Ladies and gentlemen, the only way to avoid finding yourselves on the front pages is for one of you to kill Wadsworth. Now.
Oh my God! Turn the lights on!
Turn on the lights!
It's not Wadsworth!
Oh, thank God!
Sit back. Give him some air. He's dead.
Oh my God! Who had the gun?
I did.
Then you shot him!
No, I didn't.
Well, you had the gun if you didn't shoot him. Who did?
I don't know. There's no gunshot wound. Someone tried to take the gun from me in the dark and it must have went off. Oh, look! There's a bullet lodged in the wall.
He's absolutely right. Look, right there. In the wall.
How did he die? I don't know. Being devilishly handsome doesn't make me a forensics expert.
One of us must have killed him.
I didn't do it!
Oh, I need a drink.
Maybe he was poisoned. It's all right, Mrs. Peacock. It's all right. It's all right. I had to stop her from screaming. So was the brandy poisoned? I don't know.
Looks like we'll never know.
Unless she dies too.
It's locked! Who's in there? Who's screaming?
It must be the murderer.
Why would he
He
scream?
must have a victim in there! Oh my God, Yvette!
Oh my God, Yvette! Are you all right?
No!
Yvette, are you alive?
Oh, you are alive!
No sense to you!
What do you mean?
Oh, you locked me was the murderer! You idiot!
You bastard! What?
The murderer is in this room.
Oh, my oui!
Where?
Oh, where? We are all looking at him. Oh, it is what Mrs. White said in the study. One of you is the murderer.
How did you know we said that?
Oh, I was listening. Monsieur Baldy asked me to record you all for evidence. When Walter revealed the secrets, they were all recorded.
What a snake! I've got to destroy
Where
him.
are the tapes?
The tapes. What about the body?
What body?
The body we left in the other room? Mr. Body's body.
Why were you screaming in here all by yourself?
Oh, because I'm frightened. Oh, I too drink the cognac. Oh, mon Dieu, I can't stay here by myself.
I'll protect you. I'm very very strong.
Come back to the study with us.
You see, there are safety in numbers. My dear.
Oh, one of you is the murderer. Monsieur Baudis, morti late assassin.
I didn't do it!
Well, back to the study.
Zut alors.
This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's not what I intended, not at all.
Not what you intended.
So you're not the butler?
I'm not the butler. I am a butler. In fact, I was his butler.
So if he invited us all here today, why did he arrive late?
I invited you. In fact, I wrote the letters.
Wait a minute. I don't understand. Why would you invite us here to meet your late employer? Were you assisting him in blackmailing us?
Certainly not.
Oh, I think you better explain. Oh, vite, s'il vous plaît.
Everyone, sit down, please.
Okay.
You see, when I told you I was Mr. Body's butler, it was both true and misleading. You see, I was once his butler, but it was not his untimely death tonight that brought my employment with him to an end.
What brought it to an end?
When my wife decided to end her life. You see, she too was being blackmailed by this odious man who now lies dead before you. He hated her, like he hated all of you. You see, he thought you all were thoroughly un-American. He thought it wrong for a senator to have a corrupt wife, for a doctor to take advantage of his patients, for a wife to emasculate her husband, and so forth.
Keep it in your pants, Green.
Sorry. If he was such a patriotic American, why didn't he just call the authorities on us?
He decided to put his information to good use and make a little money out of it. What could be more American than that?
So what was your role in all of this?
I was a victim too. At least my wife was. You see, she had friends who were socialists. Well, we all make mistakes. Well, Mr. Body threatened to give her up to the House of Un-American Activities Committee, unless she named names. She refused, and so he blackmailed her. We had no money, and the price of his silence was to work for him for nothing. Well, to make a long story short, the suicide of my wife preyed on my mind, the injustice of it all. I resolved to put Mr. Body behind bars, and I thought the best way to do that, while also ridding you all of his same burden of blackmail, was to bring you all here tonight, face to face, confront Mr. Body with his crimes, and turn him into the police.
So everything is explained.
Oh, nothing is explained. We still don't know who killed him. Oh, je suis désolé.
Well, we've got to find out in the next 39 minutes, before the police arrive.
Oh my God, we can't have them coming here now.
But how can we possibly find out which one of you did it?
What do you mean, which one of you did it?
Well, I know for a fact I didn't do it. I wouldn't kill anybody. I didn't do it!
We all had the opportunity and the motive. I would have killed him myself, but I had no access to a weapon. Therefore, I am clearly innocent. Whereas you...
Great. All of us will go to the chair.
Maybe it wasn't one of us.
Well, who else could it have been?
Who else is in the house?
Only the cook! The cook!
Miss Cook!
Her name is Frau Braun. I assume she would be in the kitchen.
Well, she's not here.
See that?
Somebody help me! Somebody help me!
Oh my God, there's a knife in her back!
No, that's evidence! Me? Yes, why me?
Who would want to kill the cook? Dinner wasn't that bad.
How can you make jokes at a time like this?
It's my defense mechanism.
Some defense, you know, if I were the killer, I'd kill you next.
Whoa!
Colonel, I said if I were the killer. Oh, hey, guys, now come on. There's only one admitted killer here, and that's her.
I've admitted nothing.
You paid the blackmail, didn't you?
Can somebody please help me up?
How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women?
Yours!
5.
5?
Yes, just 5. Husbands should be like Kleenex. Strong, soft, and disposable.
You lure men to their deaths like a spider with flies.
Flies are where men are most vulnerable.
Right.
Well, if you didn't do it, then who did? Who had access to the dagger anyway? It was given to you, Miss Peacock, wasn't it?
Yes, but I put it down.
Where?
In the study.
When?
Before I fainted. After I fainted, I don't know, but any of you could have picked it up.
It must have been Mr. Green.
Yes.
Where is Green?
Run off.
I didn't do it! Can somebody help me up?
Now, I suggest we put the cook's body in the study.
But why?
I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
I'm going. What? The body's gone.
Oh, what are you all staring at?
Nothing.
What do you mean? Who's there?
Nobody.
Nobody! Look! Nobody! Mr. Body's body! That's what we mean! It's gone!
Maybe he wasn't dead.
He was. I examined him.
Well, we should have made sure.
How? By cutting his head off, I suppose.
That wasn't cold.
Oh, where is he?
Well, we better look for him.
Oh, monsieur! Oh, Monsieur Body! Oh, come out! Oh, where is he? Oh, monsieur!
Well, he couldn't have been dead. He was.
Or at least I think he was. What difference does it make now?
Well, it makes quite a difference to him. Maybe there is life after death.
Life after death is as improbable as sex after marriage.
You would know, wouldn't you?
Maybe Mr. Body killed the cook.
Wadsworth? What's this?
I'm afraid those would be the negatives to which Colonel Mustard earlier referred.
Oh, my God!
Were you planning to blackmail him, Wadsworth?
Certainly not. I was going to give those to the Colonel after Mr. Body had been unmasked.
Huh. Very pretty. Would you like to see these even? They might show. Oh, no, merci. I am a lady. How do you know what kind of pictures they are for such a lady?
Oh, what sort of pictures are they?
They are my pictures, and I would like them back.
No, I'm afraid there's something in them that concerns me, too.
Let's take a look here.
Oh my! Nobody could get into that position.
Sure you can. Watch this.
Oh my God! Is there a ladies' room nearby?
Oh, oui, madame. Ça, ils ont toilette ici.
Thank you. Just need to powder my nose.
Good. Mr. Body! Wow.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
He's dead.
Mr. Body, dead. Again.
Oh my God.
Oh, she's going to faint. Somebody catch her. I'll catch her. Fall into my arms. Oh. I'm terribly sorry.
You've got blood on your hands.
I didn't do it. He's got new injuries.
Oh my God, I opened the door and there he was. He lunged at me.
Dead men don't lunge.
Well, he's certainly dead now. Why would anyone want to kill him twice?
Seems so unnecessary.
Well, that's what we call overkill.
That's what we call psychotic.
Unless he wasn't dead before.
What difference does it make now?
That's what we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out who killed him anywhere, and with
Wadsworth!
I bet it was in the hall with the lead pipe.
10 points, Professor Plum.
Oh, this isn't some sort of board game. Who had access to the candlestick?
It was given to you.
Yes, but I put it down. Anyone could have picked it up. You, him.
so it could be anybody.
You don't need to shout.
I'm not shouting. Oh, all right.
Wadsworth, please.
I'm shouting. I'm shouting.
Oh, God!
Green.
I had to stop her from screaming.
Right then, let's put the bodies on the sofa.
Don't get blood on the sofa, please.
Oh, how do we do this? The dagger will go further into our back.
Oh, I just turn her and put her over on the arm under the table.
Oh, be careful.
Try. Okay.
All right? Perfect. Now for Mr. Bobby.
All right. I'll take the leg. Mr. Reed, take the other leg.
All right, perfect. And pivot. Pivot. Yep. Pivot. Pivot. Pivot.
You're not helping. You're really not.
Get him off.
Oh, Mr. Body's maggot has all the evidence. Cleo.
It won't open.
There must be a key. Somebody check Mr. Body's pockets.
Right. He's so bloody, though.
I'll do it. Won't be the first time I've had to handle a stiff body.
Oh!
It's empty.
Soon tight.
That one's empty too.
Well, hand me the wrench.
What? Wait, why the red?
I'm going to open the bag.
With what?
It has a zipper.
Oh, right. No, yes, I was just about to use the zipper. Yes.
What's inside?
Nothing. I told you, Mr. Body's a liar.
What did he have on us? Where is it? I can't deal with all this uncertainty.
Oh, Mag, the murderer will be back to kill us all.
Well, we still have all these weapons about for the murderer to use. The wrench, the rope,
There's one.
where? Oh, it's on the floor. The lead pipe and the revolver.
Right.
Here, I'll put it in the cabinet and I'll lock it. That way, no one can get to it.
What are you doing with the key?
We're putting it in my pocket.
Why?
To keep it safe, of course.
Well, that means you can access the weapons whenever you want.
And it also means that you can't.
But what if you're the murderer?
I'm not.
But what if you are?
Well, as long as I've got it, I know I'm safe.
But we don't know that we are.
All right, we'll throw it out of the front door. That way none of us can get it.
Oh, yes.
Smart.
Downstairs to the front door.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry. Can we help you?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb the whole household. But my car broke down out there, and I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Yes, excuse us for 1 second.
I'll handle
Yes, we will help you.
Thank you. Well, where is it?
Oh, the body?
The phone, what body?
Nobody's in the study.
But there is a phone in the lounge. Follow me.
Did your car break down, or were you just trying to see me? Here you are, miss.
Thank you. I don't mean to be a bother, but with the storm and everything, it's so good to see you. Especially...
Now, when you're done with your call, I'm sure you'd be good enough to wait here.
Certainly. But why...
All right. We've got 28 minutes until the police arrive. That is plenty of time.
Did you want to kill?
Shh!
Shut up! Oh, Wadsworth, I'll make you sorry you ever started this. One day when we're alone together.
Oh, Mrs. White. No man in his right mind would ever want to be alone together with you.
I need a drink.
Me too.
Everything right up there?
Yep, 2 corpses, everything's fine.
Very good. Perfect. Good, good.
Okay, everyone, listen up. Am I correct in thinking that there is no one else left in this house?
No.
Wait, so no that there is, or no that there isn't?
Sorry, I meant no, meaning yes.
No meaning. Wait, just give me a straight answer. Is there someone in this house, or isn't there?
No.
No that there is, or no that there isn't?
Yes.
Well,
Don't you think we should get that woman out of the house before she figures out what's been going on here?
Oh, how could we possibly throw her out in this weather? I know, I'll keep her warm.
No! Well, if we leave her in the house, she could get more suspicious.
If we throw her out, she could get even more suspicious. Unless...
If I were her, I'd be suspicious already.
Oh, who cares? Let her stay locked up there for another half an hour. The police will be here by then, and we have 2 dead bodies in the study!
There is still some confusion as to whether there's anyone else in this house or not.
I told you there isn't.
There isn't any more confusion, or there isn't anybody else either.
Or both.
Just give me a straight answer, Wadsworth. Yes or no?
Certainly. What was the question?
Is there anyone else in this house?
No!
That's what he says, but does he know? I suggest we go about this in proper military fashion. We split up and search for clues.
Split up!
There is a very large area to cover and very little time to do so. I suggest we split up into pairs. Pairs?
Well, suppose one of us is the murderer. Whichever one of us is with the murderer could get
Well,
killed.
then we will know who the murderer was.
But the other half of the pair would be dead!
Now this is war, Pete. Our casualties are inevitable. You can't make it out without breaking heads. Every cook will tell you that.
But look what happened to the cook!
No!
Are you willing to take that chance, Colonel?
What choice do we have, Private? What choice do we have?
None. Besides, death comes for us all.
Suppose you're right.
Oh, but it is dark upstairs, and I am frightened of the dark. Will anyone go with me?
I do.
I will.
No, thank you.
I suggest that we draw lots for partners. Shortest with shortest, and next shortest with next shortest. Agreed?
But what if the other half of the pair doesn't come back?
We'll remember you fondly.
Fine.
You can only have one.
Fine.
No.
Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch.
Oh, God.
Right then. So, we know it's in the study, and now we're in the hallway.
Let's look in the library again.
That's fine.
You can go ahead.
Oh, absolutely no.
I'm sure there's nobody up there.
Oh, then you go in front.
Okay.
Well, ladies first.
No, you can go first.
No, I insist.
No, I insist.
What are you afraid of? A fate worse than death?
No, just death. Isn't that enough?
Are you going in there?
Yes. Are you?
Yes. Right. I don't see any light switches in here.
Well, neither do I, but there must be switches somewhere.
Should I come in with you?
No! I mean, no thank you.
first.
No thanks.
Go on, I'll be right behind you.
That's what I'm scared of.
Then we go together.
If there's anyone in here, just look out!
Are you hiding? I'm coming.
What are we even looking for?
Search me.
All right.
Get your bits off me!
You stay here, I'll check the hallway.
Yeah, probably a good idea, yeah.
I'm a bit nervous. I'm in this big house and I'm locked in some room. Yeah, the funny thing is there's this whole group of people here having some sort of party. And one of them is my old boss from...
Nothing in the hallway.
Good, good. Yeah.
Whoa! Looks like some sort of secret passage.
Should we see where it leads?
Hey, what the hell? I've had a good life. I'll go first.
Oh, do you have to touch everything?
I was making sure you weren't the murderer.
You don't touch a murderer like that.
I don't know. I was scared. Oh, hold me.
No.
What is this room? How did we miss it?
Quite the oversight considering the dead motorist in the chair!
Oh my God.
The key is gone! Go on, open it! I can't open it without the key! Let us in! Let us in! There's no alternative! I'm just going to have to break it down! I told you there was a cat!
Not anymore. That's shooting at us! I've been shot!
No, you haven't, you moron.
Oh, come out! The door is open! I am done to see shooting!
Open the door. Open the door. Stand up. Go up. Open the door. Stand up. Go.
What are you, crazy? What are you doing shooting the thing at us?
Get you out! You could touch me!
Thank you! You could have killed us! We could have been killed! We could have died!
Stop babbling. Speaking of the killer, there's a dead body in there. The motorist is dead. Oh, which one of you did it? We found her together. How'd you get in? The door was locked.
There's a secret passageway from the library to the lounge.
Designed this place, the Parker Brothers.
Wait, that gun. Is that the same gun from the cupboard?
But it was locked.
No, it was unlocked.
Unlocked!
Oh, but yes! See for yourself! Oh.
Go! No!
way.
I'm going to answer it.
What?
I didn't do anything.
You're wrong right now. You're happening. You can't open that door. You just can't open the door. You can't do it.
The key, Wadsworth.
Wadsworth, no.
No.
You can't. No.
Good evening, sir.
We've been expecting you.
You have?
We haven't.
I was driving along and I found an abandoned car near the gates of his house. Did the driver come in here for any chance? Help by any chance?
I don't.
Actually, yes.
No!
There seems to be some kind of disagreement. Can I come in and use your phone?
Oh, yes, of course, sir. You may use the phone in the study.
Stay on the understand.
Right, well, you may use the phone in the lounge.
That one's broken.
Right, I forgot. It's broken, yes. I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
That's the library.
Yes, waiting in the library.
I love the library.
It's so pretty. It's nice.
Follow me.
So great.
Don't I know you from someplace?
No, you are a stranger to me.
You all seem very anxious.
Frightfully drafty, these old houses. Please, pour yourself a drink. Just not the cognac. Just in case.
Just in case of what?
We should have told him.
Oh, very well for you to say that now. I said it then. Shut up.
Something we...
Maybe the cop will answer.
Hello? And who may say speaking? Ah, we hold please.
Oh, go back.
Act natural.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Do you know where I'd shove you in? You're above the rest! And wrongful imprisonment! And obstructing an officer in the course of his duty! And murder!
What do you mean, murder?
I just said it so you'd let me out. What's going on around here? And why would you lock me in? And why are you receiving calls from J. Edgar Hoover?
J. Edgar Hoover?
That's right, the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
What's J. Edgar Hoover doing on your phone?
Well, I don't know. He's on everyone else's. Why shouldn't he be on mine?
That makes sense, I guess.
Excuse me, sir.
What's going on here?
Well, we're having a party.
Mind if I look around?
Sure. You can show him around, Mr. Green. Me? Yes. You can show him the dining room and the hallway and the kitchen.
Fine. Officer, right this way. I'll show you the dining room. And the kitchen and the hallway.
Make it look convincing. Go.
Fine. So, this is the dining room.
No kidding.
Come on.
What's going on in those two rooms?
Which two rooms?
Those two rooms.
Those two rooms?
Yes.
The lounge and study. You know, where people are, lounging and studying.
Let me have a look.
Oh, no, thank you. Mr. Green, have you shown an officer here, the hallway? It's lovely at this time of evening. Beautiful.
You're acting very strangely. What are you hiding? I'd like to take a look.
Officer, I don't think you should go in there.
having a good time.
Still better than my fifth husband.
How'd he die?
He accidentally put strychnine in his morning coffee.
He did.
Strychnine. Ugly way to die.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the party. We are all very unsuspicious here. Oh, we.
Don't you like to dance?
I'm gonna go to this. Excuse me.
Hello, officer. Welcome to this room where there's nothing to see, just me and this eager gentleman in our undying love.
Yes. This woman's drunk. Dead drunk.
Dead right.
Want a sip?
Oh, I can't drink on the job. Chief kill me.
Killed if you do, killed if you don't.
You're not gonna drive home, are you?
She won't be driving home, officer, I promise you that.
Someone will give her a lift, huh?
We'll just get her a car.
A long black car.
A limousine. Have a good night, officer. Good night. Oh, good night. Have a great night. Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye. What?
Oh, officer, it's too late. I've seen it all.
I can explain.
You don't have to.
I don't.
Don't worry, nothing of this is illegal.
It isn't.
Of course not. This is America.
I see.
It's a free country, don't you know
I
that?
didn't know it was that free, sir.
May I use your phone now?
Yes, of course. Why'd you lock him in again? Because we've not finished searching the house. The murderer is still afoot.
The world.